Tonight's story is a story about a haunted graveyard. Our story begins over 100 years ago with a young man who fell in love with a beautiful Chinese woman. Now his father forbid them to see each other. The young lovers decided that they were going to meet in secret. So every night they would go meet in the graveyard. One of those nights it was storming and he wanted to see her anyway. They still wanted to see each other. So they took a chance and they went to the graveyard. But before he can reach the graveyard, lightning struck and it killed him and his horse that he was riding on. One night, grieving, she went to the graveyard where he was buried and she ended her own life. The whole family was so distraught. They felt that it was their fault that they had to meet in secret. Over the years, it was said that the graveyard must have been cursed. The young lovers were now buried together. But people that would visit would see a spiritual apparition. They would see a floating apparition of 7 feet tall. To this day, the cemetery is still owned by the Guzman family. The cemetery now is known as the Chinese Cemetery or the Loma Chinese Cemetery. It's also known as the Guzman Burial Grounds. One night, some friends decided they wanted to go visit the cemetery. Now it's a private cemetery, so they couldn't get in. When they parked in the front, they turned all their lights off on the car. They opened the windows and they sat there in the dark. And one of them said, "Hey, I think I see something. Turn your light on." So he flashed the light, but he quickly turned it off. He didn't want anybody to know he was there. And his friends were like, "Do it again, flash it again." He, the driver, ended up flashing the light 5 times. When an apparition of mist, a white mist appeared, and it started going towards them. As it got closer and closer, it looked like it was 7 feet tall. It was a spiritual apparition of the Chinese woman. Suddenly, everything grew eerily quiet. As they tried to rush out of there, they were horrified when they were surrounded by people dressed in black robes, and they were seeing shadows flying around the car. And then they started hearing screams and screams coming from the cemetery. Screams like somebody crying and screaming, terrified, and everybody in the car screaming, "Get out of here, let's go, let's go." So they did leave, and they could see in the background, they could see the shadows, and they could see that white apparition of the ghost floating through the cemetery. Now it's rumored that some people during Halloween or during a full moon have gone out there to do witchcraft. Now, if you visit the graveyard during the daytime, you might find evidence of some of those witchcraft rituals laying around, but don't touch them, or they can bring you bad luck. Now, this graveyard is located in South San Antonio, Texas, but it's private property, no trespassing. But if you go past midnight and you go sit in front of the cemetery and you roll your car windows down and you flash your light 5 times, you just may see shadows, apparitions, or you might even see that 7-foot tall spirit coming at your car. And if you don't close your windows, she might reach in to your car and try to grab you. So that, boys and girls, is the story of the Chinese graveyard. Now, you may not believe in haunted graveyards, but if you want to be safe, you best get superstitious.
I am here at the Chinese graveyard in San Antonio, Texas. I'm going to give you all a quick tour of this place. And before anything, I just want to say I mean no disrespect to the people that are buried here or the family members of the people that are buried here. And I've never, experienced anything other than feeling cold spots on a very dark and humid night. And, this is just a little quick tour. It's the month of October. I'm not trying to, you know, like I said, not disrespect, you know, this cemetery, because I think it's, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's still people that visit here, visit their loved ones.